So this patient's coming in, he'd stepped on a branch about a week ago and he's having persistent pressure every time he walks. There's a firmness that's through here. It's hard to say whether that's retained foreign body, which is likely, or whether that's just secondary scar tissue. It feels like there's something inside there for sure. These are actually fairly complex because if you're on the wrong plane, you can dig away through here for a long period of time and not find this. At the beginning of my career, they used to be able to send these to radiology, and there's certainly areas where you can still do that, where they'd localize these with ultrasound or CT and take them out. Unfortunately, in our area now, they don't do that, so we have to either try and find it, and if we fail, then we send them to the surgeon, who then, under the same auspices of ultrasound or CT, will do that in the OR, but it takes a long time for that to happen. So what I've done is I've sprayed this with topical anesthetic because the foot, it's painful to inject. Now I'm going to inject it now, but it's going to be uncomfortable for him. This is our 27 gauge needle here. Just going to feel a poke here. I apologize. Poke. Going to feel a burning. Yeah, sorry. So wherever the muscle is dense, anesthetic injection is more uncomfortable. The foot and the heel is one of the most uncomfortable areas. So he's being awfully stoic. So even though I sprayed this with topical, that won't be enough. So he needs this local put in, but this is no fun. And I certainly wouldn't do this lightly. So I want to infuse enough that we have decent anesthetic, and then we'll see how we do from that perspective. So again, explaining the problem with this is if I consider this his foot, and if I consider this instrument the foreign body, if I incise on this line and spread this open, I can be digging in through here for a long time and I'm missing it because it's just millimeters away. And that's the same thing that's going to happen here. So here, unfortunately, we're going to have to open this up a decent amount because you want to see that you have a chance to find this and see how we do with that. How does that feel?
Numb.
Doesn't hurt when I do that?
No.
Okay. It might be better for you. So this is our number 15 blade. I'm working with a Dr. Jane today again. So we essentially try and find, so this is where, again, you like to do these as quick as possible. So if the track had still been open, this would be a little bit easier, but now that it's a week, we don't have access to that. Thank you. There we go. So that's why he was having trouble. Is that metallic? Oh, it's glass.
Yeah.
So that's, you definitely had a big piece still in there.
You found it?
Oh yeah.
What is it?
It's glass. I'll show you afterwards. So even though you might have stepped on a piece of wood with it, that's why you're having so much trouble.
I just assumed it was wood because my friend went in to clean it up and he said it was just branches.
Yeah. So this we want to irrigate to clean that up to make sure that there's no residue. Now this is one piece. This should be pretty complete once we're done this. So I was telling him downstairs before we did this, part of the reason why radiology doesn't do this as much in our area, if you do make the effort, I would say we're probably successful about 85 to 90% of the time. So that's what I had told this patient, and I tell all the patients. So the majority of the time we'll actually find it. Now sometimes you have to dig around a lot longer, and that's just the nature of those things. But if you make the effort, you will be successful with this. And obviously when he's walking on that, that's just extremely uncomfortable.
Would that even show up?
Depending on the imaging, sometimes yes, sometimes no. X-ray might find it depending on how much lead is in the actual glass, but we can miss those. Ultrasound's a bit better for that. So all I'm doing now is I just want to make sure that it looks clean. And so I'm going to use my curette, which is this instrument here. And all I'm doing is essentially, I'm not trying to dig around, I'm using the blunt end. Just to make sure I'm not feeling. That's not hurting at all?
Oh, no.
Okay. I don't feel anything. So it should be pretty good. So now we just got to suture that closed. So we'll just take that foreign body out. So again, pretty impressive.
Yeah.
You think about, he's pretty stoic. He's walking on that for a week.
Yeah.
So here I'm not worried about, cauterizing vessels or anything of that nature. Because we did a superficial incision, we should be able to tamponade these just with the stitches.
Yeah.
Just,
Okay.
grab these scissors for you. Get that for me. So when you're the one stitching up, Dr. Jane, so if I'm in this position and you're the one who's been nice enough to help me cut these sutures, just tab that for me. So essentially what I do is once I'm done at this point, so one more pull, I should hold this up for you like this with the stitches together.
Okay.
So that you're not trying to cut across two planes. Have you had any luck practicing with the stitches at home yet?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I really appreciate you taking the time to do this, Dr. Butler.
No trouble. Yeah, if you don't, and that's the big problem with our system. So if we weren't successful with this, it's such a long time to wait for all of that, and obviously it's pretty uncomfortable. Just stab that for me.
Yeah. Every step hurt.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like I said, I'm surprised you did as well as you did. I'll show you when I'm done, but it's like a 1.5-inch piece of glass.
Holy moly.
Yeah. So the other thing I would tell you too is, while this may seem like a large incision, so in this particular case it was actually a large piece, so that played itself out, but let's even say it was a third of the size. I find to a certain extent, even though I'm always going to be sensitive to cosmetic result, when you're doing foreign body removal, a lot of time the mistake is that you make too small an incision and you're digging around in this small space where you want to kind of open it up to give it a chance for, like I said to you, if your foreign body is just a little bit outside of your incision path, it has more of a chance to open up if you have a bigger incision.
Okay.
You'll have a lot more failures if you just do a little incision with these, and the end result is we just want to make sure we're getting it out. And even in this particular case, the patient's not going to care so much if I had incision this long versus an extra, 1/2 inch. It's going to heal beautifully one way or the other. Now certainly things will change that, like if you had some type of area in the face, you're going to be more careful with it. Now typically foreign bodies, it's almost always on the feet. But
Do you ever use like cautery to get a better visualization?
use what, sorry?
To get better visualization, because the bleeding sometimes obscures the
So do I ever use what? I didn't get the first part.
cautery.
Oh, the cautery?
Yeah.
Generally no. So you can, like, if this is more about getting familiar with bleeding planes and normal tissue and what you're looking for. Sometimes I will use the headset, which has, so the problem here is the lights are kind of behind us. So when I have the headset on, it's not so much for the magnification, even though the magnification helps a little bit, but it's the directed light that helps a little bit. And when you can have that in place, you'll see things better. But a lot of it will be feel. So this is why with your instruments, you're feeling if something gives, pulls, tugs, and obviously, glass and metal, it'll all clink. You'll feel that. Wood's the harder one. So this should heal nicely for him. So we'll give him some general instructions, clean that up, and see him back in about 10 days.